July 11th, Tuesday, 2017. I'm Michael Smith. I'm trying to make I've been wanting to since I started this smile more, but it's hard to accomplish that with the information I'm giving. But I picked a pretty desolated spot. We shouldn't be interrupted. I had to hike and truck through some river rock in order to get here. I'm technically at the drop off of Salt River, but further back, so it's kind of hard to describe. All right, so today we'll get back on track a little bit. But yesterday I had an epiphany, and honestly I've been waiting for this epiphany for a minute ever since I started these videos. Is I expected to have some sort of outcome from actually doing these things. Like, usually the way I attack projects is the saying that goes, I'm a jack of all, master of none. It kind of is me, but I almost like master everything. So it fits me, but to a different degree, because everything I attack, I never really understand what it is I'm going to go do. I just do it in every single manner, whether it be electronics, whether it be working on, carpentry, fixing stuff, basically just anything, fixing stuff. And these days, YouTube, I mean, technology is at your fingertips. You have the ability to do anything, just like I've found all this information out through technology. So there is ways that you can actually make things happen in your favor based off of drive and initiative. Now, that's been my experience in life, is no matter what the outcome, if I don't know how to do it, I will go attack it, and I will accomplish most times. 90 to 95% of the time, I'd say. Like, there's very few times that I walk away unsuccessful. The only thing that makes it an unsuccess is the fact that I quit. So you should take that into account for anything. Like, there is no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as failure, only a quitter, essentially. Because as long as you keep persisting and trying, you'll eventually figure out that craft, whatever it may be. Now, I kind of learned a lot of this with my art. Like, I grew up as an artist. I was a drawer. I went into tattooing. I went into graphic design. I mean, I do all these different things with art. So, I mean, it's naturally in me. And I became aware later in life also that art is what creates this weird drive, this weird inspiration where you can go tackle anything and accomplish. Because if you have that creative mind and not so stuck in logic, you will have boldness like no other. And I've come to realize that. Now it's just become something I accept in my life. I don't really think too hard about it anymore. Just like these videos, the only thing that was stopping me was me being on camera. As far as information, I got tons of it. As far as confidence, I got tons of it. As far as like articulation, I got tons of it. And the only thing that makes me vulnerable is the fact that I'm insecure about releasing my information. And it's not even information, period. Like, if I was just sitting here reading, I could be the actor, I could be the comedian, I could be everything, and I would just be that for you guys, and it would be simple. But what makes it insecure about all this is the fact that I'm unleashing things from inside of my mind, like deep inside of my mind. Things I question, things I wonder, things I have a lot of ponderings on. And those are more the insecurities that you guys see come onto camera, because otherwise I'm the complete opposite individual. But on hindsight, I did have to create that individual because I feel like my artistic side. Like, I was a shy guy. I was smart. I was intelligent. Straight A honor roll student in elementary school, which is, grade school basically. Kindergarten through 6th grade. And it wasn't until I reached 6th grade that I started intentionally dumbing myself down, like literally, because I felt like I was too advanced. Like, my problem with school is that it was too easy. Like, I didn't like school because it was always the redundancy. It was the same thing over and over again. And I was always ahead of my class. Like, it was nonstop. It's always been that way. But once I reached 6th grade, I kind of like dumbed myself down a little bit. And I hate to say it, or I dislike saying that, but it truly is what happened, because I felt like I was too ahead of everybody. And I had to slow myself down in order to become part of the social crowd. So I never looked people in the eyes. I never talked. I always looked down. Like, I had to teach myself all these different characteristics within myself. So from that simple stepping stone is created this whole weird enigma of understanding that I can accomplish anything if I really want to. And I know that in my mind. Like, I know that I have to really want it or desire it. Like this is a true passion. Like I didn't foresee me even, yes, I talk big and I always talk big, but I never foresee it really coming to fruition. And this I can actually see coming to fruition, I hope. So the long story, making it short, is your belief systems. And that's what this talk is about, is belief systems. Because ultimately in religion, in art, in perception, everything that we're encountering as far as what we're experiencing in our reality, our world, from the scientists to the religious leaders to the political leaders to everything, it all comes back down to belief systems. The political people have this belief system that they're ahead of everybody, that they have information that's privy to them, that they are, the ego is so inflared. Religious sects, they have the belief that they're the same way, but in a different manner. All these different groups and organizations have these belief systems that they're on top because they hold information that is, privileged to you, and you don't. The original, the average day-to-day person. And part of that is because mostly everybody does roam like cattle. Like there isn't no real drive or initiative, but it's understood that those with initiative and with drive who desire to find this information are greeted and embraced with open arms into these clubs, because essentially what you end up finding out, or what you end up learning going up the social ladder, is that it's all one big club. Like it's one big organization. And no matter what that specific organization is, they all hold hands essentially. They're all in it together and they're all pushing for the same outcome. And that's an inspired mind to lead the pack. And how do you get these great leaders? How do you get these great individuals? I mean, they're picked and chosen. It almost feels like cherry pickers from a crowd. But it takes the individual, the initiative from the individual to actually get seen on radar, you could say. So long story short, is your belief system is a main thing, is what is creating our reality. Not only your literal reality from what you're seeing and experiencing through your actual own perception, to what our social structure has been created, as far as how politics is ran, how the governments are ran, how different organizations are ran. Apologize. So every instance is always about the belief system. Now, when you start going higher up into this information and understanding, and because there's a lot of information, and it's taken me tons of information in order to figure out what I figured out. And it always sounds so crazy because I'm talking about it this way, but I almost literally can point a direction from all angles, which was unheard of before, because I came into this information gathering as a UFOologist. And then I went into, spirituality, and then I went into New Age, and then I went to history, and then I went into religion. And like there were so many different branches that my curiosity drove me to. And I just came to realize that there's nonstop information. There's nonstop. Like you will go forever and ever and ever, because we have thousands of years stacked on top of it. And just to learn one culture is insane. So how do you get yourself to believe something that you don't believe in? Because this is the main thing that I'm trying to point to, is that everything that you create in your reality is being created because of what you believe. Now, if you believe the glass is half full, then everything is half full, and your perception is that of the lower half. Like everything is miserable, everyone's out to get me, the world doesn't work in my favor, I'm always stuck with complications and obstacles. Like you're the victim in it all. But now take the same person getting the same experiences, but with a different perception of the glass half full, and their outcome or outlook is more like, this is happening for a reason. There's a higher power guiding me. There's a reason why I didn't go right instead of left, or there's a reason that something stopped me from that instead of this. And it's always in the positive. So when you start looking at the big picture, it's the belief system. That's the ultimate root of all this. That's the difference in what makes the glass half full person from the glass half empty person. So you have to realize that, okay, so that's the case. Like we know that there's these difference of people, but then how do we become that other person if we aren't that other person? Now, more times than none, you don't want to go positive to negative. You're trying to go negative to positive. So this is where magic rituals come in. This is religions come in. This is where secret societies come in. It's all about a rebirth and awakening. And constantly, this is the cycle. Even in ancient cultures, ancient tribes, ancient times, it's always about death and rebirth. Because no matter what it is, like, this is point blank what my doing this is for, is programming your belief system. I've taken a long, treacherous road to figure out how to, for one, figure out that it was the belief system. For two, now that I understand that belief systems are what's creating the obstacles or the hurdles, how do we create the belief system at hand? Because how do you believe something if you don't believe it? Like, that's where it gets kind of sketchy, because if you truly don't see the world as the glass is half full, then how do you become that person who the glass is half full all the time? Because if you've been programmed from a young age that everything's not in my favor and I'm the victim and everything's happening to me, then yes, it's going to be extremely difficult for the individual to actually overcome that. And this somewhat was me, but it somewhat wasn't. But through this process of information gathering, oh, big lizard, it sent chills because, sorry, I was getting distracted. Because this information gathering is led me to believe or understand that the belief system is the main root to all of our problems. If you can program yourself to believe something, it becomes irrelevant what those obstacles are anymore. Now it's only about seeing the news, seeing the light, seeing the everything. And I guess what I'm getting to with the whole death and rebirth thing is even if you know this fact, even if you know that your belief system is the main root cause to your problems, that you still have to know how to correct it. So how do you correct it if you're not that person? Well, the death and rebirth is constantly that cycle. Like, you constantly have to look at your belief system, understand what that belief system is, and correct it if it needs correcting. Because I've said it before, you're programmed from a young age, and you've been living out this life of things you've been programmed that you had no control over, that you were taught from your parents on how to see life, or you were taught from those around you how to see life, and that's what you run with, that's what you see, and that's what you take in as. And in reality, you just have to self-reflect. Self-reflect is a big key to being able to understand your belief systems. Not only understand it, but to change it. Because how do you change it? You have to put effort towards it. So these are some of the things, like when I made these videos, that's what I was trying to accomplish, was what is my ultimate goal through this? And really the ultimate goal is how to become better, a better individual, a better person through the help of spirit. Because without realizing it, I push the spirit on you guys like so much, but without really realizing it, I've been into spirit my entire life. Like, some of the things that I've adapted to, I've just reshifted. I've rethought my plan on it and haven't really changed anything. So it's just things get incorporated into my belief system, and then all of a sudden things change. And it's like, okay, I have to readjust and recalculate. Now, the only way that I can make this kind of make sense is it comes back to quantum physics, because there's a concept within quantum physics called quantum entanglement. And this quantum entanglement is the fact that a particle always has a paired particle. And until that particle reaches another thing, be it another particle, they have a connection that's simultaneous and instantaneous. Oh my gosh, there's some sort of creature over here. So quantum entanglement, I don't know what that creature is. Hopefully it doesn't come upon me. But quantum entanglement is the fact that until that particle touches another particle, it's going to be simultaneously connected. And until it bumps and rattles itself, it's always going to be that way. So my interpretation behind that, the way I see it, is that the soul is our particle in a sense. So we're kind of guarded by our body. And you could consider it like a twin soul flame type concept, where you have another one out there that's just like you, meant for you, your soulmate, quote unquote. Or you could consider it that God is your other particle that you are stemming from, and that the soul is, in essence, never going to change direction until you bump into another particle or you cease to exist, in a sense. It's one of the only ways I can make sense of it, and it's the weirdest thing because it comes from quantum physics. So many creatures here. I got a lizard hopping right there. Let's see, look at... Oh, he left. There he is. Oh, I don't know if I got him. Alright, hopefully I get this back right. All right, there's a whole lot more I want to go into. I'll probably end up continuing this talk tomorrow because belief system goes pretty big. Basically, long story short, yet again, is if you, for one, can understand your belief system. For two, how do you change your belief system? For three, I want to create exercises that you can actually implement these changes into your belief system, because it's fairly simple. Actually, it's really simple. It's just a matter of drive or desire to do it. That's kind of why I built up on that topic in the earlier part of it. So I definitely picked a spot where I'm not getting people, but now I'm getting other creatures. Oh my gosh, dragonflies, like right here, like next to my head. Good times. So thank you guys. I'm gonna try to smile more. And till tomorrow, you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you. What are you?